2, all engineers, mechanics, and genius-minded enthusiasts of the VF-7 Sylphid Veritech fighter system. From Dagda, CEO of New Ada Robotics. Mission brief: enhancing the VF-7 Sylphid with OE principles are, the VF-7 Sylphid. A masterpiece of aerodynamics, engineering, and sheer how do we make it go faster wizardry. Yet, like any fine piece of machinery, there's always room to squeeze out a few more drops of performance juice. Let's dig into our tool chest of overall equipment effectiveness, OE, and supercharge this bird of prey. Step 1, OE Crash Course, Dagda style. OE isn't just for earthbound manufacturing folks. This metric is perfect for analyzing fighter systems in space combat and beyond. Remember, the Sylphid's true potential lies in how well we eliminate waste across 3 critical fronts. Availability: if the Sylphid's systems are down, even for a nanosecond, we lose operational superiority. Performance: every thruster delay is a missed shot in the nebula. Quality: jamming missiles? I'll personally have a word with the torpedo loading AI. Step 2, theoretical maximum, or how fast can she really go? We calculate OE using this formula. Good units produced theoretical maximum units produced for the Sylphid. Good units produced equals successful flight hours without failure, precision maneuvers, and zero waste weapon discharges. Theoretical maximum equals the stuff we claim in marketing brochures but have yet to hit on a Tuesday afternoon test flight. Step 3, bottlenecks. Why is the Guardian mode so slow? Here's a hint. Bottlenecks always hide in plain sight. If Sylphid's transformation to Guardian mode is lagging by 0.8 seconds, that's the choke point, folks. Indicators include, largest queue, longest delay before transformation completes. Highest cycle time: if it takes 15 milliseconds more than expected, that's 15 milliseconds too long when missiles are inbound. Step 4, OE breakdown. A Sylphid style availability. The navigational AI crashed during combat for 8 minutes. Shameful. Out of 480 combat minutes, that's an uptime of 480 to 480 equals 98.3% performance. The forward thrusters output 98% of their theoretical max during dogfights. We're leaving 2% of your enemy's shock and awe on the table. Quality: out of 1,000 photon missiles, 24 detonated prematurely. That gives us 1,000 to 24, 1,000 equals 97.6%. Step 5, upgrades that will make Zeus himself jealous. Rear steer calibration. Make Sylphid's Guardian mode turn as if the laws of physics are a mere suggestion. Organic sound design. Keep those cockpit sounds pure. None of that fake speaker nonsense. If a thruster doesn't howl like a banshee, it's not doing its job. AI optimizations. The AI must calculate dogfight trajectories faster than a hyperactive leprechaun in a gold vault. Missile rework. Missiles with 0 premature detonations. Our enemies shouldn't get the luxury of explosions until they're in their cockpits. Humorous takeaways. If Sylphid could talk, it'd say, Dagda, why are you making me work harder than a bog unicorn on harvest night? It's not about making Sylphid faster, it's about making the pilot feel so connected they'll think, am I flying the Sylphid, or is it flying me? Our motto: when in doubt, add more thrusters. Final words from New Ada Robotics. The VF-7 Sylphid isn't just a machine, it's a symphony of engineering brilliance. By embracing OE principles, we're not just upgrading systems, we're creating legends. When the Sylphid streaks across the stars, let it be known, New Ada Robotics made it fly faster, harder, and smarter. Stay sharp, stay fast, and for the love of the gods, don't scratch the paint. Page 2. Alright, you're diving deep into both OE calculation and the legendary VF-7 Sylphid, and as the CEO of Loog Robotics, named after the brilliant Irish deity of craftsmanship, I'm here to merge the two worlds in an epic, data-driven narrative. Sit back as we align cutting-edge manufacturing metrics with intergalactic racing potential. Let's make this Veritech fighter the ultimate symbol of precision, speed, and adaptability. Welcome to the Loog Robotics VF-7 optimization protocol. At Loog Robotics, we don't just build machiners, we craft legends. Our mission is to take the VF-7 Sylphid, already a marvel of robotech engineering, and turn it into the ultimate racing fighter. And to do that, we're leveraging the principles of OE, overall equipment effectiveness, because why stop at 100% efficiency when you can achieve light years of performance? The Sylphid's triple transformation modes: fighter mode, high-speed racing, ideal for straightaways and precision maneuvers. Think of this as the Sylphid's performance metric. How close can it get to its designed top speed of 10,000 Mach without blowing a gasket, or the space-time continuum? Guardian mode, perfect for intermediate hover and tight turns. This is where availability comes in. What percentage of time can it flawlessly hover and pivot without any downtime? Battloid mode, raw power for terrestrial sprints. Here, we focus on quality. How consistently can the VF-7 hit those targets without tripping over itself? Applying OE to the VF-7 Sylphid availability. We calculate uptime not just on the hangar floor but across intergalactic racing circuits. Did the Sylphid survive a full Mars to Titan sprint without a hitch? Example, out of 500 race-ready minutes, the VF-7 is operational for 375 minutes. Availability equals 375 A tilde middle. 500 equals 75%. Performance. The VF-7's thrusters are rated for 1,200 thrust units, hour. If it only hits 1,100 due to inefficiencies, performance takes a hit. Example, productive thrust equals 1,100 units. Performance equals 1,108 tilde middle. 1,200 equals 91.7%. Quality. In a race of 1,000 critical maneuvers, let's say 920 are executed flawlessly, while 80 leave scorch marks on the track, or your pride. Example, defect-free maneuvers equals 920. Quality equals 928 tilde middle. 1,000 equals 92%. Overall OE. Now, multiply these metrics together. OE equals 0.758 tilde, 0.9178 tilde, 0.92 equals 0.633 or 63.3%. Identifying bottlenecks. The space race pitfall in the latest Andromeda Drift Grand Prix, the VF-7 hit a bottleneck in its hyperdrive cooling system. Here's how we tackled it. Problem: the cooling system limited sustained high-thrust maneuvers, dropping availability to 60%. Solution: Lug Robotics integrated a quantum heat dispersal module. Result: availability skyrocketed to 95%, and the Sylphid left competitors eating stardust. Debate on planned stoppages. A galactic perspective. Some engineers argue that docking for refueling or calibrating hyperspace vectors shouldn't count against OE. But at Lug Robotics, we include every second. Why? Because intergalactic races aren't going to pause just because your Sylphid is catching its breath. We restructured maintenance schedules to align with interstellar pit stops, minimizing downtime. Humorous anecdote: racing shenanigans during one test run. A junior pilot decided to test the VF-7's Batloid mode in a drag race against an old Earth muscle car. The Sylphid shifted flawlessly only to accidentally vaporize the quarter-mile track with its afterburners. That's when we learned, always check your quality loss metrics before going full throttle. Key takeaways for the ultimate racing Sylphid: OE focus, availability for interstellar endurance, performance for warp speed acceleration, and quality for maneuver precision. Innovation, advanced TPM, total performance management, modules to push OE into uncharted territory. Continuous improvement, we're not just building races, we're crafting legends, one light year at a time. Next steps. With the VF-7 Sylphid optimized to perfection using OE principles, our next mission is integrating adaptive AI systems to further reduce performance losses. And maybe, just maybe, adding cup holders. Because even intergalactic pilots deserve coffee breaks. What's next for you, pilot? Page 3. The VF-7 Sylphid meets high-tech racing, a tale of integration. The engineers at Robotech decided it was time to give the VF-7 Sylphid Veritech fighter a performance upgrade, inspired by none other than a pinnacle of terrestrial engineering, the Porsche 992 GT3 RS. Naturally, hilarity ensued when aerospace mechanics and motorsport fanatics collided. Aerodynamics meets transformation modes. The VF-7 Sylphid's 3 transformation modes: fighter, guardian, and Batloid got a serious revamp inspired by the GT3 RS's active aero. Active wing upgrades. Forget a fixed wing. The VF-7's Batloid mode now sports a deployable DRS, drag reduction system, for running to the cafeteria before the break ends. The system automatically retracts if the pilot turns too sharply, preventing faceplants in guardian mode. Roof fins louvers. The Sylphid now boasts stylish roof fins that supposedly enhance airflow. In reality, they're just fancy hat tracks for Batloid mode. Engineers say the fins look cool as hell, which is good enough for military approval. Turbo-cooled intakes. Drawing from the GT3 RS's central radiator, the Sylphid's fighter mode is now equipped with turbo-cooling inlets that can double as snack warmers during long missions. Suspension and chassis adjustments. For space combat, obviously, what's good for now quarter-burgering turns out to be overkill in intergalactic warfare, but Robotech engineers didn't let that stop them. Adjustable space shocks. Pilots can now tweak the compression and rebound of their suspension mid-dogfight. Need to soften the ride for asteroid hopping? Dial it down. Taking on an alien battle cruiser? Crank it up to obliterate. Locking differential in space. While the concept of traction on zero-gravity surfaces is debatable, the Sylphid now features a customizable differential. It's not true zero lock, because who wants to explain that to a tech-savvy alien? Anti-dive control arms. The VF-7 now features control arms designed to enhance its grip during planetary landings. No more sliding into alien HQ looking like a space rookie. Weapon systems inspired by street tech. The Sylphid's armament has taken cues from the GT3 RS's lightweight design philosophy. The engineers emphasized efficiency, a term they interpreted as make it shiny and slightly terrifying. Missile louvers, borrowing from the GT3 RS's airflow enhancing louvers, missile bays now open with a dramatic hiss, intimidating foes before the fireworks begin. If intimidation fails, there's always the missiles. Laser cannons with carbon fiber housings, it's lighter, said the engineers. Does it matter in space? Asked the pilots. No one answered because carbon fiber just looks so good. Electronics and user interface pilots are used to complicated controls, but now the Sylphid comes with a steering wheel. Well, sort of. Steering wheel customization. The cockpit interface now features GT3 RS style adjustability knobs. Want more thrust? Twist the throttle knob. Less nervous rear stabilizers? Adjust with the flick of a switch. Don't touch the ejector seat button unless you mean it. Space DRS activation. DRS reduces drag for high-speed pursuits but automatically deactivates if the pilot sneezes. This feature, affectionately nicknamed Speed Boost with Caution, was installed after too many pilots got stuck in Batloid mode mid-chase. Tires, wheels, and downforce in space. No one can hear you scream about tire wear, but that didn't stop Robotech from going full GT3 RS. Bigger space tires. Front tires were widened to 275 mm, while rear tires jumped to 335 mm. The increased footprint is entirely unnecessary in zero gravity but makes the Sylphid look like a track-ready beast. Spring rates. Front and rear spring rates were adjusted because, why not? Engineers claim the stiffer setup improves planetary landing shock absorption, but pilots suspect it's just an excuse for more expensive maintenance contracts. Downforce in space. The Sylphid now generates an astounding amount of downforce, which is completely irrelevant in a vacuum but perfect for flexing at intergalactic airshows. Intergalactic performance metrics. Borrowing heavily from OE principles, the VF7 team now tracks its operational effectiveness with a similar formula. Availability. How often is the Sylphid mission ready? Hint, it's not when the pilot is napping. Performance. Can the Sylphid hit its top speed without alien interference or awkward transformation failures? Quality. Are the lasers firing, or did someone forget to unjam the plasma chamber? With an OE score of 66%, there's plenty of room for improvement. Most of the losses occur in availability, largely due to pilots spending maintenance time customizing cockpit decals. Final thoughts. The VF7 Sylphid, now infused with GT3 RS technology, is the epitome of unnecessary engineering brilliance. It's faster, shinier, and absolutely ridiculous. But hey, when you're fighting aliens, style points matter. Just don't forget to engage DRS before the space cops pull you over for reckless hovering. Page 4. Sylphid VF7, weight, brakes, and hyper-engineering in space. When Robotech engineers got their hands on the Porsche GT3 RS spec sheet, they couldn't resist incorporating its weight and braking philosophy into the VF7 Sylphid. However, their approach to space drag racing meets alien warfare turned out to be as much about comedy as engineering. Weight gain. The Sylphid hits the gym integrating advanced aerodynamics, larger tires, and an upgraded braking system into the Sylphid inevitably added about 100 pounds to its frame. To justify this, the engineering team coined the term combat mass optimization, a fancy way of saying, we bulked it up, but it looks cool. Aero components. The added wings and louvers increased the Sylphid's ability to cut through space debris like butter. The weight gain. A small price to pay for looking this good in zero gravity, quipped the lead designer. Space-worthy brakes. Steel rotors were ditched for carbon ceramic systems, ensuring the Sylphid could stop on a Damier or at least on a runaway asteroid. The larger brake pads were tested during a mock alien invasion, where they performed admirably until someone forgot to recharge the cooling system. Brakes built for war and showmanship. The Sylphid now comes with two brake options, steel rotors, affordable and practical for extended planetary skirmishes. Sure, they're heavier, but they have that A-classic brakes vibe, said one technician. PCCBs, plasma carbon ceramic brakes. These offer superior stopping power but cost about as much as a small moon. Pilots with PPCBs tend to smugly remind their colleagues of their upgrade during lunch breaks. Transmission. From the 1/4 Bergring to the Q hyperbelt, the Sylphid's transmission is where the real fun begins. Inspired by the GT3 RS's 7-speed PDK, it now boasts aggressive final drive ratios, perfect for high-speed planetary chases. Pilots have reported unintended burnouts in Batloid mode when they forget to recalibrate for atmospheric conditions. Torque vectoring rear differential. Customizable rear-end behavior makes the Sylphid a drift king in space. One pilot described it as, finally, I can Tokyo drift. On the moon. Engine enhancements for alien showdowns. The Sylphid now features a 4 liters engine equivalent with upgrades that make it sing under pressure, hotter cams, for better acceleration during evasive maneuvers. Engineers warn against prolonged use, citing an incident where a pilot got too excited and ignited a space donut. Enhanced induction system, adds 25 horsepower, which might not seem like mecha until you realize it's in a dogfight with alien tech that maxes out at 20 horsepower. Redesigned cylinder head, keeps oil flowing even under high G-forces, because the last thing you need during a corkscrew dive is a seized engine. Driving dynamics, the VF-7 at the limit taking the Sylphid to its peak performance is a thrill that only the most skilled pilots can handle. Aerodynamic and mechanical grip, enhanced downforce improves cornering and braking. Pilots report feeling like they're glued to the cosmos during high-speed maneuvers. Braking performance, larger tires and advanced aerodynamics reduce stopping distances significantly. During one test, a pilot stopped so abruptly that their lunch detached and floated away in zero gravity. Emotional connection and physical impact. The Sylphid isn't just about numbers, it's about feel. High skill requirement, the controls are intuitive but demand mastery. You don't just fly the Sylphid, you become the Sylphid, claimed one overly dramatic pilot. Physical impact, the performance is so intense that some pilots have requested padded cockpit seats. Robotech's response? Toughen up. Design philosophy, a machine for the elite. The Sylphid VF-7, much like the GT3 RS, was built for the few who can handle its brilliance. It prioritizes precision and connection over convenience. Built for performance, engineers didn't bother with creature comforts like cup holders or snack compartments. This is war, not a picnic, they argued. A future classic, limited runs and outrageous specs make the Sylphid a collector's item. Expect to see retired models displayed at the Intergalactic Space Museum alongside quotes like, "The Sylphid didn't win the war, but it looked good trying." Takeaways. The VF-7 Sylphid Veritech fighter is now the galactic equivalent of a track-focused hypercar. It's fast, it's beautiful, and it's utterly impractical for anything except high-stakes space combat. In other words, perfection. Page 5. 1. If your VF-7 Sylphid fighter were to enter a space race with no constraints on time or physics, which celestial body would it race around, and why? Well, first of all, we'd absolutely race around a black hole. Not because it's an easy choice, but because it's the ultimate flex. Picture this, the VF-7 Sylphid blasting around the event horizon at 50,000 Mach, with the event horizon slowing down time just enough to give us a 1-second head start before the whole universe watches in awe. Plus, no one's ever done it, so we could market it as the race that bends time, space, and maybe your perception of reality. And if we don't win? No problem, we're already in the future. 2. What would happen if your VF-7 Sylphid malfunctioned mid-race, and you had to choose between completing the race or saving the galaxy from a cosmic threat? Ah, the classic galactic dilemma. Well, if my Sylphid malfunctioned, we'd first go into full battloid mode. Because nothing says I'm solving the problem like a giant, metallic humanoid stumbling across space. I'd look around and say, well, if the galaxy's in trouble, I guess I'll finish the race later. I'd pull a stunt that even the best space racers would admire, transforming mid-flight into fighter mode just to slam into the cosmic threat at 10,000 Mach, all while still crossing the finish line, probably with a minor malfunction, but hey, we'll call it character development. The galaxy saved, the race won, and I get to live out my dream of being the galaxy's most efficient multitasker. 3. If you could design a mode for the VF-7 Sylphid that combined all 3 transformation modes into one, what would it do, and how would it be better than anything on Earth or in space? Oh, easy. Introducing, Ultra Mega Transformer Mode, patent pending. Imagine, you've got a fighter mode top speed that can brake light itself, a Guardian mode hover that stays perfectly still while drinking a cup of coffee, and a battloid mode where you're punching asteroids into oblivion while simultaneously racing through space like it's a Sunday drive. It would be the most efficient and entertaining mode in the galaxy. No wasted space, no wasted time. It would essentially be the Swiss Army knife of intergalactic machinery, faster than light, more stable than your grandma's Wi-Fi, and equipped with an automatic calm down button for when you need to chill after saving the universe for the second time this week. Plus, we'd throw in some roof fins for style because why not? Page 6. Alright, let's wrap this up with the big picture and the KPIs that will make Madripoor venture capital fall in love with our $100 million Series B pitch. Spoiler alert, we're going big, but also keeping it hilarious. The VF-7 Sylphid project, KPI breakdown. OE, overall equipment effectiveness. We're hitting an OE score of 95% on this bad boy, because who doesn't love a fighter jet that's more reliable than your Wi-Fi connection at the worst possible moment? This translates to an availability of 95% A because in the galactic space race, offline is a dirty word. Performance speed, we're talking warp speed acceleration that'll have you slamming the throttle to 88 miles per hour and thinking, was that a time loop, or did I just break the fabric of reality? All metrics are hitting a 12% improvement in top speed compared to the previous model, which, by the way, was already faster than your neighbor's opinion on your driving skills. Quality metrics, We've got lasers firing on cue, and after reworking missile systems to eliminate premature detonations, we're 99% more effective at actually hitting targets. Our engineers have made sure the missiles don't blow up until someone's in the cockpit. Now that's progress. Market rent versus in-place rent. So, market rent for this property is $31.61/SF, while we're sitting comfortably at $29/SF. The good news? We're underpricing our galaxy-dominating fighter jet. Think of it as galactic real estate, only the tenants are pilots who would trade their grandma for a VF-7. How we're allocating the $100 million in Series B. Now, let's talk about how we'll spend this sweet $100 million to take the VF-7 Sylphid and turn it into the best thing in the galaxy, after your grandma's cookies, of course. 50% for research development. Here's where the magic happens. Think of it as upgrading a Ferrari, except we're going for a Ferrari that can turn into the robot that can also race through the event horizon of a black hole without breaking a sweat. That's some next-level engineering. We'll be working on AI trajectory optimizations, so it knows exactly where to shoot without asking for directions, adaptive suspension, because if you're landing on planets, you don't want a bumpy ride, and quantum heat dispersal modules to keep the engine from melting during high-thrust maneuvers. Priorities, am I right? 30% for manufacturing production. We'll be scaling up production of the VF-7 Sylphid, but not too fast. Limited runs, just like that $100,000 hypercar that your neighbors can't afford. We're aiming for exclusive, elite, and slightly impractical. Think of it as building the ultimate sports car, except the track is space, and the stakes are the fate of the galaxy. 10% for marketing branding, because how else are we going to tell the galaxy that our fighter jet is basically the Maserati of space combat? We'll roll out the red carpet with some intergalactic ad campaigns, strategically placed on hollow billboards in the Andromeda galaxy. Expect teaser videos like, "Get ready for the ultimate ride. Sylphid, fly it, or get out of the way." 5% for maintenance customer support. No one likes to hear about maintenance costs, but we've made it part of the thrill. It's not about whether your fighter is operational, it's about whether you can live with it when it breaks your expectations and then makes you pay for it. Think premium services, space pit stops, and a team of engineers who might need their own space therapist by the end of the year. 5% for galactic expansion. Eventually, the VF-7 Sylphid will go intergalactic. Our goal? Taking over the galactic space market. Sure, we'll start small, think Madripoor's bustling market, but we'll quickly expand to other galaxies. And by expand, I mean we'll be monopolizing the space race like no one's business. The Sylphid will be the face of space combat, and you'll be lucky if you get to ride in one. Final words of wisdom, and humorous takeaways. Key takeaway: if you think the VF-7 Sylphid is excessively engineered, you'd be right. But hey, in space, it's all about pushing the envelope, right? So we're not just aiming for success, we're aiming for legendary status. And if that involves some intergalactic racing and the occasional galaxy-saving mission, so be it. KPIs to remember: performance, quality, and availability. With a bit of luck, a touch of humor, and a dash of galaxy-crushing ambition, we'll be trailing Stardust and leaving competitors in our wake. And for the record, when it comes to Series B funding, we're not just aiming for the stars, we're aiming for the entire universe. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to calibrating the thrusters. You know, business as usual.